All right, let's jump right into this. We are looking at a massive cultural and technological shift right now that is fundamentally changing how modern couples prepare for marriage. Today's explainer is all about the slightly awkward but incredibly important intersection of romance, finance, and artificial intelligence.
Driven heavily by millennials and Gen Z, the adoption of prenuptial agreements has just absolutely skyrocketed. I mean, we are talking about jumping from a tiny 3% of couples back in 2010 to a whopping 21% in 2023. Financial experts are actually emphasizing now that these conversations strengthen relationships by forcing complete financial transparency before you tie the knot. But historically, getting that transparency came with a massive barrier to entry.
You know what's really staggering about this shift, though? The sheer cost savings that AI brings to the table. We are looking at a 70 to 95% reduction in legal fees. AI tools can literally compress a traditional, drawn-out $10,000 legal bill into a rapid $50 to $500 process. It is completely democratizing access to financial protection.
So, to demystify this whole process, here's our agenda for today. 1. The Prenup AI revolution. 2. Choosing your legal tech. 3. Data and draft generation. 4. Customizing high-risk clauses. 5. The crucial attorney review. And 6. Real-world AI prenups.
Okay, starting with part 1, the Prenup AI revolution and how it's shifting the paradigm.
The crucial thing to understand here is what this tech actually is and what it isn't. Prenup AI is basically a super smart document generator. It's a system trained to understand contract structures, state law variations, and financial disclosure requirements. What it does is compress that incredibly expensive billable hour heavy discovery and drafting phase. But, and this is a really big but, it does not replace the human attorney, it won't represent you in court, and it doesn't give legal advice. It just accelerates all the heavy lifting.
Moving on to part 2, choosing your legal tech and platform selection.
Now, you might be tempted to just default to a general AI like ChatGPT, but hold on. You really need to know the landscape first. Specialized platforms like Hello Prenup have built-in databases for all 50 states, which makes them fantastic for a quick DIY approach. If you're out in California, an app like First is tailored specifically for you. For highly complex assets or high-conflict negotiations, Neptune offers a hybrid model that aligns AI with human-lawyer matching. And of course, if you are on a tight budget, ChatGPT Plus or Claude Pro can absolutely do the job, but just know they require a lot more manual prompting on your end.
Which brings us to part 3, data and draft generation, or feeding the AI. This is our complete 5-step workflow. It gives us a chronological roadmap from staring at a completely blank screen to holding a notarized legal document. Right now, we are sitting right at step 2, which is compiling those finances.
Listen up, because here is perhaps the biggest red flag we found in this entire process. AI cannot protect what you don't disclose. Family courts will absolutely throw out your prenup if your financial disclosures are incomplete. Total, radical transparency with your partner is mandatory here. There is no way around it.
To get that transparency safely, you've got to structure your data rigorously. You need to list real estate, retirement accounts, business interests, all debt, and your income. But, and please take this warning seriously, never ever upload your social security number or actual bank account numbers to any AI platform. Data breaches happen, right? Instead, use generic descriptors. Call it brokerage account number 1 instead of typing out the actual routing digits. You have to protect your privacy.
Okay, so once your data is clean, you prompt the AI. But a generic, lazy prompt, that is incredibly dangerous. If you just ask an AI to write a prenup, it might output a generic clause that literally voids your agreement in a state like Florida. Why? Well, because generic AI often completely fails to distinguish between passive market gains on an asset and active appreciation due to marital effort. You need an engineered prompt that demands compliance with the Uniform Premarital Agreement Act. If you give the AI clear, strict boundaries, it can spit out a 15-page document in under 90 seconds.
All right, part 4, customizing high-risk clauses and refining that output.
You should never, ever accept the very first draft an AI hands you. You've got to use targeted follow-up prompts to refine the high-risk areas. For instance, you might want to add a sunset provision, which automatically terminates the agreement on, say, your 10th anniversary. You also absolutely need a severability clause, meaning if a judge throws out one bad line, the rest of the contract survives. And be extremely careful with infidelity clauses. Interestingly, testing by NBC Washington actually found that models like ChatGPT repeatedly hallucinate and insist infidelity clauses are unenforceable, even when local state law perfectly allows them.
So, how exactly do you catch those AI hallucinations? Well, we found an incredible pro tip for you. Run your finalized draft through 2 different AI models, say ChatGPT and Claude, and compare their outputs. Where they disagree, boom, you have found your red flag. Cross-model validation actually catches 73% of hallucination errors in legal drafting.
Next up, Part 5, the crucial attorney review, basically the human handoff.
This step is absolutely vital. It's your ultimate reality check. You are going to take your highly refined AI draft to a licensed family law attorney. But notice the strategy here. You are paying $500 to $1,500 for an hour or 2 of expert validation, not dozens of hours of drafting from scratch. You want them to verify state statutory compliance, point out enforceability risks in a real courtroom, and confirm the exact execution protocols for signing. This hybrid model really does offer the ultimate cost-efficiency ratio.
Finally, Part 6, Real-World AI Prenups, Putting Theory into Practice.
Let's look at how this actually plays out in the real world. First, we have a tech entrepreneur with startup equity. Standard templates totally failed to handle their complex stock options. But by chaining multiple prompts together in Claude, this founder safely generated a founder's equity protection schedule. Their attorney reviewed it for $900, saving them $4,100 compared to a traditional full-service drafting.
Next up, consider a blended family where both partners have kids from previous marriages. Standard unguided AI often completely misses how prenups interact with trusts. But because they used a specialized platform, Hello Prenup's structured questionnaire flagged a massive $2.1 million estate planning gap. This ensured their children inherited specific trusts without accidentally disinheriting the surviving spouse.
And finally, let's look at a debt-heavy medical resident marrying a software engineer. The resident had $280,000 in student loans. In literally 4 minutes, ChatGPT drafted a customized professional education debt shield. This specifically ensured the software engineer was completely protected from any marital liability regarding that massive medical school debt.
As we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with a thought that goes way beyond prompt engineering and legal jargon. We've seen how this technology compresses a $10,000 legal headache into a highly efficient, affordable 20-minute process. It makes financial transparency radically accessible to pretty much everyone. But think about this. If an AI can structure your financial future that quickly, what does that actually mean for the modern marriage? The AI can write the contract for sure, but it's ultimately up to you to have those difficult, vulnerable conversations that actually build a lasting partnership. So are you ready to have that conversation?